Julianna, I thought it was the most intriguing interview, and to me it was an interview of little phrases. He seemed very controlled, very contained. What did he suggest to you? What was the body language off camera?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. You talk about little phrases. I mean, he says the potential for a deal. It's about math. Republicans have to acknowledge that higher revenues have to be on the table. So essentially, this was the president coming out in his first post-election interview and drawing lines in the sand when it comes to the fiscal cliff, saying that, look, he's got a lot of flexibility when it comes to entitlement spending. He knows that that's going to be a must. But in returns, Republicans are going to have to cave on their insistence that rates do not get touched for the wealthy.
They may cave or not cave. What has been the response? I know you're on the phone all night, working the BlackBerry, working the iPhone. What has been the response to your interview among those inside Washington?
Both the BlackBerry and the iPhone. Well, you know, Republicans came out right away and said, hey, look, we're ready, we're eager, we want to sit down and negotiate, but the president now has to offer a counterproposal. And essentially, you know, Republicans say the president just didn't necessarily move the ball very forward on this. But what everybody says is this is all about the political posturing right now. And ultimately, it's going to come down to President Obama and House Speaker John Boehner actually getting into a room, sitting down face to face and working out some of these tough issues between the two of them.
And Julianna, you also asked him about whether we would see a business leader in his next cabinet. Here's what the president said about an executive on his economic team.
Not only is it something I'm considering, I'd love to do it. It's something I would have loved to have done in the first term. I'll be honest with you. Actually, one of the biggest problems we've got in terms of recruiting business leaders into the administration is the confirmation process has become so miserable, so drawn out, that for successful folks to want to put themselves through that process, you know, a lot of folks are just shying away.
Julianna, I thought it was interesting that he blamed it a little bit on the confirmation process. What was your reaction? And give us some names of who he might consider.
It is interesting that he blamed it on the confirmation process, because that would apply to names of people who he brings in to be in his cabinet. So as Commerce Secretary or Treasury Secretary, those are two of the departments where you could see where we're hearing that they're considering or that they'd like to bring in someone with business experience. But to head the president's National Economic Council, that doesn't need Senate confirmation. And one of the names that we're hearing as a business leader is PIMCO's Mohammed Al-Arian. Also, you've got Steve Case and also Roger Altman. So a diverse group of people, you know, spanning Wall Street, big business. These are names, especially Altman and Steve Case, that are frequent visitors to the White House and have pretty close relationships there.